Hello and welcome everyone, it's Capcan. Today we're looking at our Havoc Demon Hunter talent tree from Dragonflight, which is like your DPS Demon Hunter. Let's go with starting with I-Beam channeled, 30 Fury, cost 40 seconds cooldown, bless all enemies in front of you for quite a bunch of chaos damage over 1.7 seconds, deals reduced damage beyond 5 targets. Okay, then improved Chaos Strike. Chaos Strike damage increased by 15% straight up. And a dead end talent from the start, which talent tree looks like balanced but not as wide as you can imagine. So either Insatiable Hunger, Demon's Bite, deal 50% more damage and generates 5 to 10 additional fury, or Demon Blades, your auto attacks deal an additional 199 shadow damage and generate from 7 to 12 fury. They don't, this skill don't like... Okay, so you're either your Demon's Bite deals more damage, or your auto attacks deal more damage and generate fury. And they don't replace the Demon's Bite. Okay, alright. Fellfire Heart increases the duration of Immolation, Aura, and Sigil of Flame. Just increases the duration, alright, pretty good. Demonic Appetite. Chaos Strike has a chance to spawn a lesser soul fragment. Consuming any soul fragments grants 30 fury, so additional... when you're spending with Chaos Strike your fury, you can have lesser soul fragments, and consuming soul fragments are gonna grant you fury and give you an opportunity to use your Chaos Strike or other spenders if you want to. Improved Fell Rush. Fell Rush damage increased by 25%. First Blood. Blade Dance deals 884 chaos damage to the first target struck. Okay. Then Furious Throws. Throw Glaive now costs 25 fury and throws a second glaive at the target. And previously it was free instant throws. Yeah, so it's just like twice the damage. For the Blade Dance, to be honest, that's quite a good number of damage, because like 300 for all nearby enemies, but oh, it's not additional damage, it's just 800 chaos damage. Or no, I guess it's gonna be additional one. So it deals 1000 damage instead of 300. Then Furious Throws, that's the thing with our glaives. Burning Hatred. Immolation Aura generates an additional 60 fury over 12 seconds, which is quite cool. Additional resource generation is always pretty good. Critical Chaos. The chance that Chaos Strike will refund 20 fury is increased by 25% of your critical strike chance. Oh, so your crit strike now also gives you, and 50%. Crit strike now also gives you resource generation in a way. Quite interesting here. Then we have in this part, let's go with this part of the tree. Initiative. Damaging an enemy before they damage you increases your critical strike chance by 15% for 5 seconds. Okay, using Vengeful Retreat refreshes your potential to activate this effect on any enemies you are in combat with. Oh, alright, so and you can get this critical strike chance increases by Vengeful Retreating and reducing the reactivating the cooldown on that stuff. Quite interesting. Okay, so you want to deal first strike to the enemy. So choose one. Desperate Instincts. Blur now reduces damage taken by an additional 10%, which makes it even better. Defensive cooldown. Additionally, you automatically trigger Blur with 50% reduced cooldown and the duration when you fail below 35% health. This effect can only occur when Blur is not on cooldown. So it auto-procs, it maybe saves you, if your reflexes are not as good, it maybe saves you, maybe saves you in that situation, but reduced cooldown, reduced duration, yeah, so that's more of a man, using your talent for that, of course you're getting plus 10% reduce the damage reduce to the blur itself, but still using cooldown for in order to use a skill automatically instead of you. Quite weird. Nether walk. Instant 3 minutes cooldown. Slip into the nether, increasing movement speed by 100% and becoming immune to damage but unable to attack. Last 6 seconds. That looks quite broken and quite good. Maybe not in M+, yeah, probably. But still, at some bosses, it may be usable more in raids and PvP. But at least it feels like a real skill that you can use and you can gain like pretty good advantage out of it. And of course, for raids, it's gonna be massive because you're getting additional movement speed. You're immune to damage, which means that you can tank some mechanic that needs to be dealt with and stuff like that. Then Blind Fury. I-Beam generates 20 Fury every second and its duration is increased by 25%, by 50% and 40 Fury. Probably the damage is increased as well with the increased duration. So it means like, yeah, more damage, more and Fury generation for the I-Beam is, yeah, it's quite good. 40 seconds cooldown, yeah, quite good. Unbound Chaos. Activating Immolation Aura increases the damage of your next Fel Rush by 250% and then is 500%, lasts 12 seconds. So yeah, that's for you to really feel the damage of the Fel Rush. Like 500% here, and somewhere in the other place there was something with Fel Rush. Fel Rush damage increased by 25%. It's interesting for me. Probably they just like add one to another, so it's gonna be like 525% increase and not like something crazy like 25% to that increased by 500% damage. So it may do you a favor and create new like additional AoE damage from failed rushes, and it's just like it changes your rotation a little bit, it changes your using of movement spells a little bit. Isolated Prey. Chaos Nova, I-Beam and Fel Rush gain bonuses when striking one target. Chaos Nova stun duration increased by 2 seconds, I-Beam deals 30% increased damage, and Fel Rush generates 25 to 35 Fury. It doesn't generate any. So that's of course for your single target for your boss encounters and PvP. So just like additional good stuff on 3 skills. Tactical Retreat. Vengeful Retreat has a 5 per seconds reduced cooldown and generates 80 Fury over 10 seconds, which is quite massive. Like minus 5 seconds cooldown, it means 20 seconds cooldown. Yeah, you're gonna use it just to generate additional Fury. Quite cool talent, but again forces you to use your mobility cooldowns in order to generate Fury, which means that maybe in the moment of need you wouldn't really have that spell available for you. Okay, let's go with the center part of the tree. Dead End, Mortal Dance. Blade Dance now reduces target's healing received by 50% for 5 seconds, which says in quite alarming voice to us PvP talent, and yeah, like more of a PvP talent at least. So that we saw. Dancing with Fate. We need to look at this, then we'll go there. The final slash of Blade Dance deals an additional 25% and then 50% damage. So yeah, you can like spec into the Blade Dance a bit as well. Chaotic Transformation. When you activate Metamorphosis, the cooldown of Blade Dance and I-Beam are immediately reset, which is quite good. You can like use everything, then use Metamorphosis, and you're up to go to burst the targeted enemy even more. Definitely gonna be very good in PvP and still good in PvE. I-Beam deals guaranteed critical strikes. So here we had like you investing into crits in order to gain additional Fury, and here we have like, okay, if you don't have crits, there are your crits on I-Beam. Okay, don't really know how much are you gonna use it, and the value of the crit strike stat itself to the character. Serrated Glaives. Enemies hit by throw glaive take 10% increased damage from I-Beam and then 20% increased damage from I-Beam. Like that's very specific in order for you to, yeah, so like Of course, I-beam deals quite a big damage. It's quite a good spell. But yeah, you'll need to mark enemies with throw glaives. Maybe if you go in glaives anyway and it generates you, but no, it costs fury. So I don't know about this talent in particular. Let's go with other centered talents. Furious Gaze. When I-beam finishes fully channeling, your haste is increased by an additional 10% for 12 seconds. And it's quite big duration as well, which makes I-beam even better spell, and haste is always good. Especially if you have a bunch of haste, then 10 plus 10% to haste is gonna be even better. Then what do we have? What do we have in the right part? And then we'll go into bottom. So after Dancing with Fate, the final slash of Blade Dance deals an additional damage. We're gonna have either Fell Eruption, 10 Fury, instant 30 seconds cooldown, impales the target for some chaos damage and stuns them for 4 seconds. So that's your single target stun. Or Trail of Ruin, the final slash of Blade Dance inflicts an additional chaos damage for 4 seconds, so you can go very, very hard on the Blade Dance skill. Then we have Relentless Onslaught. Chaos Strike has a 10% chance to trigger a second Chaos Strike. Okay. And Growing Inferno. Growing Inferno, Immolation Aura's damage increases by 8% each time it deals damage, and then it goes up to 15% each time it deals damage, and it's gonna be pretty massive increase after all, which is interesting. Burning Wound, passive. Demons bite and throw glaive leave open wounds on your enemies, dealing pretty good chaos damage over 15 seconds, and increasing damage taken from your Immolation Aura even more by 45% may be applied to up to 3 targets. So that's another way of dealing damage. Yeah, you have different themes going on around here and there. Definitely a chaos, here a chance to trigger a second chaos strike. So like it's not as clear as with some other specs where you have like, here's your AoE part, here's your single target part, because here you have both AoEs and single target abilities mixing up here, mixing up there, and everything seems more mixed up between one another. So after Burning Wound, we have Moarg Bionics. Throw Glaive deals 25% increased damage for each enemy hit. Then Rage Fire. Each time Immolation Aura deals damage, 50% of the damage dealt by up to 3 critical strikes is gathered as Rage Fire. When Immolation Aura expires, you explode, dealing all stored Rage Fire damage to nearby enemies. As you can see, even more emphasis on you to use your Immolation Aura as like very hard hitting AoE damage ability with your throwing gray glaives and other stuff in combo. Then with what we have here is either Fodder Flame, Fodder to the Flame. Your damaging abilities have a chance to call forth a condemned demon, just like with Vengeance. Throw Glaive deals lethal damage to the demon, which explodes on death, dealing AoE damage to nearby enemies and healing you for 25% of your maximum health. The explosion deals reduced damage beyond 5 targets. So yeah, that's your like random procced ability that can just spawn, and then you pop the demon, it explodes, deals damage, heals you, pretty cool. Or Elysian Decree. Yeah, place a Kyrian Sigil at the target location. When it detonates, it deals arcane damage to AoE on AoE and shatter up to 3 lesser soul fragments from enemies affected by the sigil, 1 minute cooldown and instant. And here we have like just your reliable 1 minute cooldown ability that you're throwing at the place where you need it to be, and then it's popping, deals damage, gives you soul fragments, lesser soul fragments and stuff like that. Soul Rend. Throw Glaive causes targets to take an additional 60% of damage dealt as chaos over 6 seconds, so very hard on Throw Glaives here. Yeah, so like maybe 5 or 6 or 7 talents on Throw Glaives already. Any means necessary. Mastery Demonic Presence now also causes your single school magic damage to be dealt as chaos instead. Interesting. I'm not really sure how much it is gonna like impact everything, so yeah, Furious Gaze we saw, that's the haste generation. Then a Restless Hunter, living demon from grants living demon form grants a charge of Fell Rush, additional mobility, and increases the damage of your next Blade Dance by 50%. So increases to damage to your Blade Dance, and the additional mobility, maybe damage with Fell Rush if you was getting the talents on the damage of Fell Rush itself. Inner Demon in entering demon form causes your next Chaos Strike to unleash your inner demon, causing it to crash into the target, into your target, and deal chaos damage to all nearby enemies. So 2 talents on you entering and leaving demon forms, which mean that your metamorphosis is gonna be even stronger of a cooldown. A cycle of hatred. Blade Dance, Chaos Strike, and Glaive Tempest reduce the cooldown of Eye Beam by 0.5 and probably then 1 second. So Blade Dance, your AoE ability, Chaos Strike, your single target spender, and Glaive Tempest reduce the cooldown of Eye Beam by 1 second, which is quite good because Eye Beam is quite powerful spell, especially with all the buffs on it. Shattered Destiny. The duration of your active demon form is extended by 0.1 second per 7 fury spent, which means that you can prolong it pretty extensively if you're like combating in the same moment. Here we have either Glaive, that's our Glaive Tempest. So Glaive Tempest, instant 17 seconds cooldown, 30 fury, launch 2 demonic glaives in a whirlwind of energy, causing chaos damage over 3 seconds to all nearby enemies, deals reduced damage beyond 5 targets. So that's your additional 17 seconds cooldown AoE spender of fury though. Or Fell Barrage, unchanneled 1 minute cooldown, unleash a torrent of fell energy over 3 seconds, inflicting chaos damage to all enemies within 8 yards, deal reduced damage beyond 8 targets. Or way more cooldown, bigger damage, though no fury, fury costs to it. So Isolated Prey we saw. Chaos Theory. Blade Dance causes your next Chaos Strike within 8 seconds to have a 14 to 30 increased critical strike chance and will always refund Fury. So more of a single target buff with additional crit strike chance and refunds of Fury. Momentum. Fell Rush. The Hunt and Vengeful Retreat increases your damage done by 10% for 5 seconds. So all your mobility, skills, increase your damage done by 10 seconds. And that forces you to use your mobility skills even more in order to deal damage and not to have mobility in the right times of need, which is quite a little bit contradictory, but a cool mechanic that you can opt into. Gain critical strike damage equal to 50% of your critical strike chance, and probably then either 100% or maybe a little bit less. So that's quite cool. You can go very, very hard on your crit strike chance and then have pretty big multiplier. Essence Break. Instant 40 seconds cooldown, slash all enemies in front of you for 1900 chaos damage and increase the damage your Chaos Strike and Blade Dance deal to them by... I need to reread it. 40 seconds cooldown, which is quite good already. Instant. No fury cost. Slash all enemies in front of you for AoE for pretty massive chaos damage and increase the damage of your Chaos Strike and Blade Dance deal to them by 100% for 4 seconds. Deals reduced damage beyond 8 targets. 100% increased damage by Blade Dance, which this looks like a very good AoE skill. It's quite interesting with this any means necessary with conversion to to be dealt with conversion to chaos, with crit strike multiplier, some different style shenanigans going on in the Havoc talent tree. They are not you can tailor your rotation, maybe not as hard as with some other talent trees, with some other classes 100%, so it's still pretty simple class to play and pretty simple core stuff that you have, but you can opt into different abilities from your core rotation make some of them more powerful and stuff like that. But like endpoint talents, passive ones that convert damage, give you like chaos damage multiplier that not chaos, oh my god, a critical strike damage multiplier that like create from your crit strike chances, your resource management refunds and stuff like that. It looks kind of cool. So I hope that the class itself is gonna feel pretty good and be relevant in the game. So yeah, thanks for watching. Have a great day and goodbye.